We'll start with some gentle moving with the breath. Start in tabletop position, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Draw the shoulders back, take the gaze up and the tailbone up. Inhale, exhale, push the mat away, round the back. Inhale, gaze up, tailbone up. Exhale, push the mat away, round the back, belly button to spine. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, long inhalation. Exhale, tuck the toes under, push back to downward facing dog. Just moving with the breath, knees down, roll the shoulders back, gaze up, tailbone up. Exhale, push back to child's pose. Just moving with the breath. Inhale to tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog, long exhalation. Inhale, drop the knees down, tabletop. Push back, child's pose. And inhale, come up to tabletop position. And tuck the toes under and push back to downward facing dog. Exhale completely. Knees down, last time, tabletop position. And then push back to child's pose, sitting bones down to heels. Inhale, come up, just moving with the breath. Tuck the toes under and push back. Exhale to downward facing dog. Look between the hands, step the feet in between the hands, looking up. Exhale, fold, empty the lungs completely. Inhale, sweep the hands high up to the ceiling, look at your thumbs. And then exhale, straight down to the mat. Bend the knees if you need to. Inhale, look up, flat back. Plant the hands, step back into plank. Lower. Inhale, torso through the arms, roll the shoulders back. Lift the sternum. Tuck the toes under and push back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, fill up the lungs. And exhale completely. Inhale 2, expand the rib cage. Exhale, torso to the thighs. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, look between the hands, step the feet in between the hands, looking up. Exhale and fold, empty the lungs completely. Inhale, circle the hands high up to the ceiling, look at your thumbs. And exhale, straight down to the mat. Bend the knees if you need to. Inhale, look up, flat back. Plant the palms, step back into plank. Lower, straight body, all the way down. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, lift the sternum, point the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Exhale completely. Inhale, settle into the posture. And exhale completely. Inhale, expand the rib cage. Exhale, torso towards thighs. Inhale, long inhalation. And exhale. Inhale, look between the hands, step the feet in between the hands, looking up. Exhale and fold, empty the lungs. Inhale, circle the hands high up to the ceiling, look at your thumbs. And exhale, straight down, fold forward, hands to the mat. Inhale, lengthen, halfway up, flat back. Plant the palms, step back into plank, lower. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, lift the sternum. Exhale, tuck the toes under, downward facing dog. Fill up the lungs, inhale. Exhale, plant the palms, push the mat away. Inhale. Exhale, deepen the posture. Inhale, fill up the lungs. And exhale. Inhale, look between the hands, step the feet in between the hands, looking up. Exhale and fold, empty the lungs completely. Slightly different this time, bend the knees. Toes together, heels together, knees together. Chair pose. Look up at your thumbs. Exhale, hands down to the mat. Lengthen the legs. Inhale, look up, flat back. Plant the palms, step back into downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Bring the right foot in between the hands. Put the left heel down. Inhale up to warrior one. Look up at your thumbs. Exhale, hands down to the mat. Step back, downward facing dog. Extra breath here. Fill up the lungs. And exhale. Now bring the left foot in between the hands. Put the right heel down. And come all the way up, warrior one. Look up at your thumbs. And exhale. Hands down to the mat. Step back, downward facing dog. Fill up the lungs, inhale, and exhale completely. Let's take child's pose. Put the toes together, part the knees. Sitting bones down towards the heels. Take some long, restful and restorative breaths here. And just bring the attention to the breath. Just watching the breath. Find the natural pause at the top of the breath and at the end of the breath. Fill up the lungs and exhale. On the next inhalation, come up to tabletop. Then exhale, tuck the toes under and push back to downward facing dog. Inhale, step the feet in between the hands, looking up. Exhale, fold, empty the lungs. Deeply bend the knees, chair pose. Sit on your imaginary chair, hands to the ceiling, look at your thumbs. Exhale, hands down to the mat. Inhale, look up, flat back. Plant the palms, step back to downward facing dog. Extra breath here, fill up the lungs. And exhale completely. Bring the right foot in between the hands. The left heel goes down. Circle the hands all the way up to the ceiling. Warrior one. Exhale, hands down to the mat. Step back, downward facing dog. Extra breath here, inhale. And exhale. Inhale the left foot in between the hands, right heel down. Circle the hands all the way up, warrior one. Exhale, hands down to the mat. Step back, downward facing dog. Extra breath here, fill up the lungs. And exhale. Now drop the knees down to the mat, child's pose. Toes together, part the knees. Fingers to the front of the mat, sitting bones all the way back. Just rest here, watch the breath. Let go completely. Just watching your inhalation and the exhalation and the natural pauses between the breaths. On the next inhalation, come up to tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step the feet in between the hands, looking up. Exhale, fold, empty the lungs. Deeply bending the knees, toes together, heels together, knees together, chair pose. And exhale, hands down to the mat. Lengthen the legs. Inhale, look up, flat back. Plant the palms, step back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, fill up the lungs. And exhale. Take the right foot in between the hands, left heel down. Inhale all the way up, warrior one. Exhale, hands to the mat, step back, downward facing dog. And then inhale, fill up the lungs here, and exhale completely. Before we go on the left side, bring the left foot in between the hands, right heel down, rise up to warrior one. Exhale, hands down to the mat. Step back, downward facing dog. And then inhale and exhale. And drop the knees down to the mat. Toes together, part the knees, give the torso somewhere to go. Child's pose. Rest the arms down onto the mat. Just watch the breath. Make your inhalations and your exhalations even. Listen to your breath, your Ujjayi breathing. Alright, so come up to tabletop. Tuck the toes under, push back, downward facing dog. Come into cross-legged position behind your hands. Sit down and straighten your legs. Bend the right knee, bring the heel behind the sitting bone. Take the left hand high up to the ceiling, lengthen the spine. Wrap the arm around the leg. rotating from the belly button, rib cage, shoulders, hand down behind the tailbone. Flex the front foot and use your exhalations to rotate a little more. Fill up the lungs, long, gentle inhalations, and exhale completely. All right, come back to center and drop the knee to the side. Bring the foot into the thigh, a bit like seated tree pose. Line up the belly button and the torso with the left leg. Flex the front foot. And inhale, lengthen the front of the body. And exhale and hinge from the hips. Bring the sternum forward towards the toes. Use the inhalation to lengthen. And exhalation, hinging from the hips. Inhale and release. Take the right hand behind you. Come up onto your knee, lift the hips. You're taking the left hand back into a back bend. Lifting the hips forward, opening up the chest. Keep reaching the hips forward and drop the head back. And come all the way down, release and sit back down. Okay, so swap the legs. Straighten the right leg, bend the left knee. Bring the heel of the left foot behind the sitting bones. Raise the right hand up. Create that lengthened space. Wrap the arm around the leg. Pull on the leg, rotating. Belly button, rib cage, shoulders, chin over shoulder. Flex the front foot. Hand down behind the tailbone. Fill up the lungs. Inhale, grow taller. And exhale. Feel yourself releasing with your exhalations. And release. And come out of the posture. Drop the knee down to the floor. Sole of the foot to the thigh. Seated tree pose. Turn the torso towards the extended leg. With your inhalations, roll the shoulders back and lengthen. With your exhalation, reaching forward from the hips. And resist rounding the back. Alright, so release the posture. Take the left hand behind you. Plant the knee down and raise the hips. Come all the way up, reach right back. Back bend here. Drop the head back. Open up the front of the torso. Lift the hips and the chest. Alright, and come all the way out of the posture, all the way down. And straighten the left leg. Lie on your back. Bend the knees, feet on the floor, right behind the sitting bones. Feet are hip distance apart. You can touch the heels with the middle finger. Bridge pose. So plant the feet, knees reach forward, lift the hips up. Interlace the fingers underneath the bottom, then rock and roll the shoulders together. Shoulder blades reach towards the spine. And lift the hips more. Inhale, you compress into the inner foot to stop the splaying of the legs. And exhale and lift more. Draw the shoulder blades towards the spine to pop the chest up. Alright, and release. Release out of the posture. Bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees drop apart. Let gravity do a bit of work for you. Reach the arms overhead and hold the elbows. And just relax here. Now swap the hold of your elbows over. Swap the arms over. And just a little longer here. Draw the knees together and draw the knees into the chest. Just roll from side to side and massage the back. Happy baby posture. Take the elbows on the inside of the knee. Hold the feet from the outside of the feet. Show the soles of the feet to the ceiling and draw the knees down to the armpits. Ankles directly over the knees. Lengthen the tailbone down towards the floor. This is a hip opener. Lovely pose for grounding at the end of a practice. Alright, and release. Hold the knees to the chest. Take the arms out to a T. Drop the knees over to the right and take the gaze over to the left. You can put your right hand on the knee to give a little extra weight. Turn the head all the way over and look at your left hand. This is a little stretch for the glutes and the spine. Come all the way up to the center and drop the knees over to the left and the gaze comes to the right. You can put your left hand on the knee. Anchor the legs while revolving the spine and the torso. Sink the right shoulder down to the mat. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale and straighten the legs for Shavasana. Hands either side of the hips, palms facing up. Relax the body completely. Relax the shoulders and the arms. So here is where we notice thoughts arise and let them go. And just keep bringing the attention to the breath. Just watching the breath.